Hey everyone, welcome to a What I Eat in a Day video. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways to make some cozy comfort food, but with a healthy spin. Everything is going to be plant-based and vegan, and some of it I think is really going to surprise you. I'm going to show you how to make crispy tofu, how to make your own seasoning blend for the tofu that's so good, how I like to make a homemade matcha latte, and then since this was a cozy home day, I'm also going to show you some little cleaning and home hacks, some of my favorite things that I picked up at Target. I'm going to do a little Target haul, some of my favorite vegan groceries that you can find at Target. And I'm also going to show you how I veganize a pancake mix that might surprise you, because I know there's kind of the obvious way, but I'm going to show you some little tips and tricks that are really helpful as well. I've got a healthy cookie dough bites recipe and some of my favorite cruelty-free vegan products. I want to thank Native for sponsoring this video. And if you guys are excited about What I Eat in a Day videos, then give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let's get into it. So like I said, I want to show you how I veganize pancake mix. Now this one calls for 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, and 1/4 cup of melted butter. Instead, I made a flax egg with ground flax seeds and water, and while that sits and thickens up, I thought I would show you the pancake mix that I'm using. This is a mix of organic flour, some baking powder, some salt. I really love the consistency. It's really finely milled. I also love that this is a female-owned company, and it's actually a family recipe that she packages and makes in small batches in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, one thing that's really important whenever you're measuring flour or pancake mix, really any dry ingredient, you want to fluff it up first and then measure it so your final product doesn't end up being too dense. I added a little bit of vinegar just to help kind of boost the baking powder for nice, light, fluffy pancakes since we're not using a chicken's egg. I also added some vanilla for flavor. And then instead of the 1/4 cup of butter, I just did 1 tablespoon of coconut oil along with 2 tablespoons of applesauce. The applesauce acts as an oil replacement, but also it helps to bind the way that an egg would bind because it has pectin, which helps to thicken and kind of hold everything together so you get fluffy pancakes. The result is beautiful, fluffy, golden brown pancakes that are spongy and light and so good. This mix is really, really delicious, and I love that it's organic. I love that it's a family recipe. So I have been making this a lot recently, and I love topping it with some thawed frozen peaches, banana slices, coconut yogurt, coconut flakes, maple syrup, and tahini, which sounds like a lot, but it's just what I had on that day. I had peaches in the freezer, I had coconut, I always have coconut flakes on hand. So this was delicious, like really delicious, and I really, really recommend this combo. Definitely let me know if you give it a go. Oh, also adding the vanilla to the mix worked so well with the tahini and the maple. Delicious. Then I took my vitamins and I also made up the rest of the pancakes instead of just saving the batter. That way, for the next day or two, I had pancakes ready to go for breakfast, and let me tell you, that was a treat. I just put them in the toaster and breakfast was ready. I went to Target earlier today and I wanted to show you some of the things that I got and also talk about some of the vegan things that I have seen there that I'm very impressed slash a little bit puzzled by. So I thought I would kind of do mini grocery haul slash cool things you can get at Target haul. So let's do it. So I change up the plant milks that I get all the time. Sometimes I do almond, sometimes I do soy, sometimes I do oat milk, and I kind of change up the brands a lot too. The one that I really like to get often though is this soy milk. It's organic, it's unsweetened, it doesn't have carrageenan, and it also is fortified in the same way that dairy milks are fortified, so it has vitamin D. It actually has a lot of calcium and 120% of your daily vitamin B12, which is really cool. I was like, which vitamin? Because there's actually a list. It's vitamin A, folate, phosphorus, magnesium, riboflavin, all kinds of stuff. So this is the one that I like. It's very creamy and coffee, doesn't separate, so I get this one quite a bit. Next, I picked up one of their organic coffees. This is the Three Sisters blend, and it says that it's floral and earthy with bright citrus notes, which sounds delightful. So this is one I'm excited to try. A non-food related item that I got is this Everspring candle. Especially, I'm filming this on a Sunday, so especially on Sundays, I like to try to go ahead and clean up my space a little more and open the windows, let some fresh air in. And once I've cleaned my space and the windows are open, I really like to light a natural candle. I think that it just kind of creates a really nice mood when you've cleaned your apartment and it's nice and fresh and there's still daylight outside, and it creates a really nice ambiance for any day, but particularly on a Sunday. It really creates those Sunday vibes, if you know what I mean. So I got the lavender and bergamot, and it says that it's not tested on animals, 100% natural and non-toxic. It smells very clean and kind of spa-like. So I've never tried any of their candles before, so I'm excited to give this one a go. And it's also what I'm using as motivation to clean my apartment, because once it's clean, I get to light my candle. So it's a little mental game I'm playing with myself. And the last non-food related item that I wanted to tell you about is Native deodorant. If you guys are looking for a really great deodorant, I highly recommend Native. I've been using them now for more than a year, and I use it exclusively. I don't use any other kind of deodorant. It's vegan, it's cruelty free, and it doesn't contain aluminum, parabens, or sulfates. It also smells really good, and the scent lasts all day, which makes me feel really nice and clean, and it's not sticky or drying, which I feel like with deodorants that's kind of hit or miss. Like a lot of times they don't ever fully dry, or they dry so much that it irritates my underarms, and the Native deodorants never ever do that. Plus they have so many scents, which you'll see if you're at Target. You can go look at all the different scents, and they're coming out with new ones all the time, but the one that I really like is the lavender rose, and I also really love the coconut vanilla. I just think they're beautiful, soft. For actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the lavender rose deodorant and then the lavender candle, I feel like maybe I'm having a bit of a lavender moment right now. Plus you might have noticed that this packaging is a little bit unusual, and that's because it's 100% plastic free. This is made from paperboard, and Native actually teamed up with 1% for the Planet, which means that 1% of all of the profits of these plastic free deodorants goes to environmental nonprofit organizations, which I think is amazing. So on top of creating a eco-friendly product, they're also giving back some of that, which I think is really great. So ordinarily 3 of these would cost $39, but if you use my link and the code below, you can actually get them for $29, which is 25% off, and there's free shipping within the US as well. So definitely check this out. Like I said, I've been using it for over a year, and I'm really happy that they now have a plastic-free alternative. So yes, you can find them at Target, but I definitely recommend using my link because you will save some money. And let me know which scents you get, because I think they are just beautiful, beautiful scents, truly. It might be weird that I'm smelling my deodorant, but it smells good. I also got some tofu, which is going to be for dinner tonight. I'm gonna make some, like a healthy spin on mashed potato bowls, and I needed tofu for that. I almost picked up some strawberry mochi. They have a regular strawberry mochi and also a vegan one, and I love mochi, but it was a little too early in the morning for me to spend $7 on mochi, so I decided not to. But I wanted to let you guys know that they not only have vegan ice cream at Target, but they also have mochi, and the strawberry one is really good. I also noticed that Target really loves vegan queso. They have 3 different types of vegan queso that you can buy, and I don't know why, but I'm really happy. Oh, I forgot to tell you I got hummus. It's because it's already in the refrigerator and I forgot to pull it out. I got artichoke and spinach hummus as well, and it's the Good and Gather brand. But in that same section, they have 3 different kinds of plant-based queso, which I think is really cool. So if you are ever looking to make nachos or an easy, quick mac and cheese, the sauce is already ready. You can just go ahead and cook some noodles and then put that in there as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this haul. I'm gonna go make a snack. I really wanna try that artichoke hummus that I got today. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna get to cleaning because, well, honestly, I just wanna light my candle. So clean first, light the candle, and chill after. That's the plan. Sometimes on the weekends, I don't really have a proper lunch. I kind of just snack a couple times. So that's what I did on this day. I was really excited to try the hummus that I got from Target, and it's really good. It's really, really, really flavorful. And it was really nice to have with these cold, crunchy cucumber spears. A lot of times I'll put lemon and some lemon pepper on cucumber spears to make them even more delicious. So that's a great hack as well. Next on this day, I wanted to meal prep some chickpea cookie dough bites. Now, I've seen so many recipes for this over the years, but I've never tried it. And so I really wanted to give this one that I found on Pinterest a go. You basically just mix together some canned chickpeas, some nut butter. I used cashew butter, but I actually recommend using almond butter instead. And then some kind of either almond flour or oat flour, whatever you have. And then you're going to add flavor with vanilla, maple, and some sea salt. Now, I forgot to add the maple until about halfway through blending, so you'll see I added it later, but you're just going to blend all of this together and it turns into like a cookie dough consistency, which is crazy since it's basically just chickpeas, nuts, and some seasoning. And as you can see, it is beautiful, but it is also secretly packed with lots of healthy vitamins, plant-based protein, minerals, fiber, all kinds of good stuff. And then I'm going to sprinkle in some mini chocolate chips. You can actually also get these at Target or Thrive Market. They're really good. They're from Enjoy Life Foods, and they're the mini semi-sweet. That's the one that I usually get, and I love them. They also melt really nicely. If you want to make some chocolate-coated things, you could make chocolate-coated cookie dough bites if you want. That would be great. But anyway, it looks like this. And as you can see at this point, it wasn't quite right. It wasn't quite cookie dough consistency, but I was still following the recipe at this point. So I rolled it into balls and I put it in the refrigerator thinking it would, get a little firmer when it set, but it didn't. So what I did was I just added a little bit more to taste. So I added more vanilla, a little more maple. I added a lot more of the almond flour until I turned it into something that was looking like this to this, which was a lot more kind of cookie dough like, and it actually ended up tasting really good. Feels like you're eating cookie dough, but they're packed with lots of great nutrients. So once I nail this recipe, I will be sharing it with you, but it was a fun thing to try and experiment with. So I had about 3 of those with a cup of matcha on this day, and I've really been loving having matcha in the afternoon. This is the one that I like to use from Peak Tea. And the way that I make this is I just put it into a mug along with some hot water. I fill it about 1/3 of the way up. And then you can use a matcha whisk or a regular whisk, or I have this little frother. It really helps to blend the powder into the liquid really smoothly so there's no powderiness. And then I add oat milk. Oat milk plus matcha is absolute heaven. This cleaning hack might be something that you guys already know, but it really helped me a lot with glass surfaces. The idea is one that you want to dry dust and then use a cleaner like a vinegar spray to make it nice and shiny. If you spray the spray directly onto a dirty glass surface, it's just going to make the dust stick, and that's how you get streaks. I'm looking at a blog that I found on Pinterest right now called Rabbit and Wolves. It says simple yet exceptional vegan comfort food. The recipe that I found is for vegan mashed potato bowls, which reminds me a lot of something that you can get at KFC, which is basically like a bowl of mashed potatoes with crispy chicken on top. It usually has corn and I think gravy and cheese. But this is a veganized version, so instead of the fried chicken, they did crispy tofu nuggets, and they still do the corn, they still do the gravy, and then they added some extra roasted veggies. It looks amazing. So I think this is what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make it a little bit different just because I wanna make cauliflower mashed potatoes instead of the regular mashed potatoes, because why not sneak in an extra veggie? And I'll put my cauliflower mashed potatoes recipe in the description box below. But it's a really good way to add some veggies to your dish that still feels really like comforting, like you're just eating mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna do that. And then they have really well seasoned tofu that they sprinkle with some poultry seasoning, and then they bread it and they get it all nice and crispy, which honestly sounds so good. And if I was making this for, my friends or family, I would probably go the extra mile. But honestly, I don't really feel like doing all of that. And I don't think it'll make that big of a difference if I just grill it with the poultry seasoning. It'll make it really, really quick and easy. And since it's gonna have the vegan gravy and the mashed potatoes, like it's gonna be nice and saucy and have lots of flavor. So I think it's gonna be really good. So let's go do that. Here's how to get nice crispy grilled tofu. The first thing you want to make sure is that your tofu is dry. So use a clean towel to make sure that it is really nice and dry, and then cut it into cubes. This recipe called for poultry seasoning. I didn't have any, but this steak seasoning is so good. I highly recommend picking it up. And then to amp up the poultry seasoning flavors, I added some extra sage, rosemary, and paprika. This is not usually in poultry seasoning, but I highly recommend it. Then if you have a mortar and pestle, you can go ahead and use that. But if you don't worry, neither do I. You can just mix these spices together in a little bowl and use the back of a wooden spoon to crush them up. I highly recommend taking the 15 to 20 seconds that it takes to do this because it really brings the spices back to life. It makes them so much more flavorful. It also makes them a bit smaller and more finely milled, so you get even more flavor out of them. And then I just press this into the tofu on all the sides, and this steak seasoning mixture has some salt and pepper as well, so it is really, really flavorful. The next way that I make the tofu nice and crispy is by making sure that I put it into the pan once the pan is very hot, along with some avocado oil, and then don't turn it too soon. You really want it to caramelize on each side for a few minutes, and then it will release itself. Like it shouldn't be sticking. And once it is kind of nice and easy to turn, it should be perfectly golden brown, and you can flip it over and cook it for a few more minutes on the other side. I did follow the recipe for the gravy in this blog post, and it was so good and very simple. You start with some vegan butter and flour to make a roux, and then slowly stir in a little bit of low sodium veggie broth. You want to do this a little at a time while you're stirring, and that way it won't get too lumpy, because gravy is the kind of thing that it's actually really easy. There's not a lot of ingredients, but it really is just about the way you make it. The way to make perfect gravy is to make sure you do it a little at a time. I did add a little bit more of that seasoning blend that I made instead of the poultry seasoning that the recipe called for, and it was bomb. Highly recommend. And then I plated this up. It was basically a base of the cauliflower mashed potatoes, and then I had some frozen broccoli and corn that I just quickly steamed. I added a generous portion of the grilled tofu and then lots of the gravy on top. When I tell you this was delicious, it was delicious. Like, I was shook. It was so flavorful and really hearty as well, packed with veggies, although it really tasted like a cozy bowl of comfort food, and I 10 out of 10 recommend giving this a try. While I was making dinner, I was listening to a podcast from Delicious Liella, and they were interviewing these authors about basically the negativity effect, and they were saying that it's universal for humans to feel the effects of negativity more than positivity. So if you've ever heard one negative comment in between 3 positive comments, you're probably going to feel or remember the effects of the negative comment more than the positive ones. A few take-homes from the podcast. The first is to share good news and not just always vent the bad stuff. I think venting can be really healthy and really good, but it's also really important to make sure that we're sharing good news and we don't feel like we're bragging when we're talking about good things that happen. The next thing they said to try to do is to write down the things that you love and admire about people and actually tell them. This can have a positive effect on both you and the other person, and that can last for weeks. And finally, it takes 4 positive events or feelings to counter 1 negative, and actually it's better to try to aim for a 5-to-1 ratio. So all of those little things that we do throughout the day can really help to outweigh some of the negative stuff we also encounter in the day. I think that's a big part of what I try to do on my channel. I really try to elevate the small moments and like make small things big, whether it's a beautiful breakfast or a cozy cup of coffee or lighting a candle after I clean my apartment. It's like all of these little things are not necessary, and I don't always make a beautiful breakfast and I don't always have a candle going, but these little moments that you can really pay extra attention to create moments of positivity, it's been proven that that really does help to counter the negativity that we feel. And so it was just really cool to hear that podcast and to learn that actually all these things that I feel so strongly about and try to cultivate more of both in my own life and on this channel actually could have an effect, you know? So I thought that was awesome, and hopefully it's a good reminder to you guys too, to try to punctuate your day as often as possible with beautiful moments, healthy meals, you know, taking good care of yourself, really listening to the people around you and supporting them, because it not only makes you feel good, but it makes others feel good too. So that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this What I Eat in a Day. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, because that really helps out my channel and lets me know that you like What I Eat in a Day videos and want to see more of them. Do go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and check out the link in the description box if you would like to give Native a try, and I will see you guys in a video very soon. Bye.